Before we get started, I want to thank War Thunder for sponsoring this video. I think that Resident Evil Revelations might be the only RE game in the series with an explicit permadeath achievement, as in one that actually tells you to not die, versus the games that have no heal or no save achievements instead, which are just as good, don't get me wrong, I just think it's kind of interesting. The permadeath achievement in question is called Surviving Deep Darkness, and you get it for clearing the game on normal difficulty or above without dying once. And spoiler alert, I didn't get it. I mean, I could have, probably, eventually. Definitely on the normal difficulty at least. But my plan was originally to combine two challenges into one. I wanted to get Surviving Deep Darkness alongside the Vestibule of Hell, which is the achievement you get for clearing the game on Infernal mode, Revelation's hardest difficulty. The thing is, I thought Infernal was just a harder difficulty. You know, the usual enemies are stronger, have more health, resources are more limited, that sort of thing. But that wasn't entirely the case. Here, let me show you the very start of the game, where enemies aren't even introduced yet in normal.
It's been 94 minutes since Chris and Jessica dropped off the radar.
But the interpolation from their last known coordinates puts them...
right here on this ship.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I should have played Infernal mode once. This is absurd! What the hell is this? Alright, so I might have underestimated this entire game mode. Are you kidding me, dude? So that was fucked up. As it turns out, Infernal throws just about every enemy type at you from the very start. And on top of that, the spawns are all remixed as well. I love this kind of stuff. But I don't like Revelations all that much. I've played Revelations exactly 2 times before this run. The first time was back in 2018 to check out the game because I never played the original on the 3DS. And then the second time was a D-Rust run on normal right before I decided to do this run, just to get a feel for the game, not knowing what I know now about Infernal. Basically what I'm saying is that I wasn't exactly prepared for this, only kind of. So I dumped the permadeath achievement and decided to see what Infernal was all about instead. There's a total of 12 chapters in this game, so let's get going. You've already seen me struggle with part of the first chapter here, and on the second attempt, I adjusted my strategy pretty quickly, as in I harnessed the age-old Resident Evil strategy of running like an absolute coward. But we do have to kill this specific guy so that we can progress, and while we do that, I may as well let you know that the general classification for enemies in Revelations is ooze, which is so much more worse to me than, say, calling everything molded, like in 7. I don't know what it is. Actually, no, I do. It's because ooze sounds like slang for venereal disease. In fact, I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, even this basic ooze is extremely resilient against my actual best efforts. Holy shit! Is there enough ammo to kill this thing? We did it. Didn't even break a sweat.
This is not good.
Also, I usually try to give a little TLDR to give context to some of these runs, but in the case of Revelations, I don't know exactly what's going on. Besides that, we're on boats for most of the game. It jumps around to different times and characters a lot, like right now, this is a flashback, and I have a hard enough time reading notes in games nowadays. Plus, I find almost all the side characters insufferable. All in all, not exactly a recipe for success for my awful attention span. This part at the beach is pretty much just scanning and then shooting these slimy little booger guys. Scanning is a huge part of Revelations and also kind of annoying. It's like someone played Metroid Prime and saw the scanning there, but then decided it needed to be dialed up to 11 at all times. Like, I actually think that more than half of my playtime was wandering around the environment scanning for supplies, which is 100% necessary for not having a really bad time. Scanning is how you find upgrades, ammo, and some other items. Upgrades I'll touch on a bit later, but as far as ammo goes, you either find it laying around or you have to scan for it. Enemies don't drop a thing, besides the odd key item for story progression. So you have to spend a lot of time as a loot goblin. The rest of this chapter is back on the boat, where after a lot of running and surprisingly no death, we watch someone named Rachel get dummied. Damn, that's crazy. She'll be back. Chapter 2 has us start off as Chris, and also involves a lot of running, this time from dogs.
I think they're infected. Careful, Jessica.
Okay, what gave it away? The highlight here is when Chris falls and stubs his ass, which leads to a shooting gallery of sorts. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of grenade types in this game as well, and they're all pretty useful, especially the decoys. Oh, not like this. The bit I did catch on to story-wise is that Chris's partner Jessica really wants to punch his boulders. Do you get it? When I say boulders, I mean testicles. And when I say punch, I mean with her vagina. This is easily the horniest Resident Evil game. If you've played it, you know. We just have to keep refusing to acknowledge that one part in the Resident Evil 3 remake. You know the one. We're back to the ship with Jill now, where I almost immediately died during the dodge tutorial. Oh. I don't get it. Nope, we're dead. Listen, the dodge is jank. There's also this little circuit board puzzle you have to do a handful of times across the run, and I imagine this was a little more engaging on the 3DS. While we're running to meet up with Jill's partner Parker, who I forgot to name until just now, let's talk really quickly about upgrades. Upgrades good. Upgrades make gun better. Actually though, they're called custom parts if we want to be pedantic, and someone in the comments probably already has been. And Infernal has higher tier parts not found in normal, that obviously really helps balance the scales. You can swap these around freely at item boxes, and parts range from damage to fire rate to reload speed to capacity and some other fun stuff like burst fire and stun. There's more types in there, but I very predictably mostly prioritized damage. That's pretty much all you need to know. Beyond that, I died here once thanks to one of the exploding scroty looking fellas. Oh, that killed me! The upside is that they can team kill their friends, which pretty much makes them glorified fleshy explosive barrels. Oh, beautiful. At the end of the chapter, we run into my favorite character in all of Resident Evil. This is Raymond, who surely on some level was inspired by Conan O'Brien. He's not my favorite because he's a good character or anything. He's my favorite solely because of this dumb face he makes for 2 whole actual literal minutes at the start of chapter 3. I can't tell if he's in pain or if he's on the cusp. It could be both.
There have been rescues, there have been losses. Too many. But any further delays would simply cripple our cause. Surely you can understand that.
Anyways, the start of chapter 3 is another flashback that's about 95% shooting hunters. The other 5% is dying to them. Oh my god, I'm trying to like turn to see the button. We're not going anywhere with the hunter? Okay.
Jessica, what are you waiting for?
Oh yeah, I'm so fucking dead. Are you kidding me? God damn it! There are way too many hunters in this game. Before we go back to Jill, let me tell you about this video's sponsor. War Thunder is the most all-encompassing vehicular combat game ever made and is available to play for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox. From the past to the present, there's a mix of over 2,500 different tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from nations all over the world to use in the intense, realistic combat of War Thunder. And with a worldwide community of over 70 million players, how could the PvP battles not be intense? Every vehicle is created down to its separate components, meaning there's multiple ways it can be destroyed, from taking out their weapons, engines, or even their crew. My favorite part of War Thunder is that it lets you enjoy this insane amount of detail with the X-ray view. Whether it's you or the enemy going down, you'll be shown exactly what happens. What was hit? How was it affected? And did it lead to the destruction of the vehicle? Use my link in the pinned comment to play War Thunder for free today and get a bonus limited time offer that includes premium vehicles, a premium account, in-game currency, and more. Back in the present, we've got to turn on the emergency communications. And to do that, we need a key from the comms officer. But before we go find him, I went and yoinked the shotgun. And definitely had zero problems on the way to go do that. Don't hit me. Oh, I'm stuck. Are you fucking joking me? We're also gonna make a quick stop at the pool. Please no. Please no. Please no. What's going on here? Oh my... Jesus! And yeah, I guess these guys can one-shot us. That's fine. The reason we're here is because we can start purifying the water for later, so we can come back and grab some good loot. Also, there's a sniper rifle. It's probably important to mention that you can carry 3 guns at once. You can also swap them out at item boxes, they all have different stats and amounts of parts you can install, that sort of thing. Normally, I'm a pistol and shotgun kind of guy, but in this run, I messed around with everything for the sake of experimentation. Now for the comms officer. Okay, that might have been a waste of ammo. He's a big boy, and this is a big fight. As far as I can tell, random ooze will keep spawning until we kill him and grab the key he's got. There's a bunch of explosive tanks laying around here, and while those definitely help, I found that jumping back and forth between these windows was a bit more effective for not getting clapped. Minus the one time he hit me through the window. That was annoying. Wait. What? Are you kidding me? As you might have noticed, this bit pretty much ended up being a battle of attrition. Luckily, all the running away I did earlier had me stocked up on enough ammo to shoot this out. Oh my god, did we do it? As soon as Chapter 4 starts, we can head back to the pool, which is now cleanish enough that we can loot the entire area for ammo and parts. And then it took me 2 minutes to solve a math puzzle. Now we need another key, and this time Rachel has it. Told you she'd be back. And the virus made her a foot taller and maybe a foot thicker as well. I'm also just now realizing that she doesn't have a fat hog, and that's actually her hair wrapped around her leg. You learn something new every day. Oh, bad dodge. I probably wouldn't have died here as much as I did if I wasn't trying to grab the By the Crosshairs achievement on a whim, which you get from killing Rachel before she makes it to the cafeteria. She's absurdly tanky. Oh, it was worth it. I got the achievement. Yeah, so that was fun. But also I wasted practically everything to bring her down fast enough for the achievement. So I ended up doing it all over again just to save a bit of resources. That's it for here. She'll be back. Chapter 5 might be my overall least favorite part of the game, or at least tied for it with a couple other bits. It starts with the comedic relief duo of Quint and Keith, who I quite frankly find annoying as hell. They are just non-stop yapping. The Jill part of this chapter is in the half-flooded bilge of the ship, and has some water-specific enemies that are also not my favorite things to deal with. Yeah! At least there's a machine gun down here. That's nice. Beyond that, there's a lot of pulling levers to divert steam, and then backtracking to where the seam was to continue on. Rinse, repeat. It's very much a busy work puzzle. Once that's done, the bilge floods. And then we're back to the funny fellas where we're introduced to invisible hunters. Just what this game needed. They actually tease these very briefly at the start of the chapter on surveillance footage, and that makes them kind of seem like there's something entirely different. Does this not make them seem like they're Tyrant Height or something?
Nasty. Hey, did he just drop something?
But no, having more hunters is fine. Chapter 6 is back with Chris, where he thinks he's on the same boat as Jill and is rushing to save her. But spoilers, it's an identical ship and she's nowhere to be found. We do get a fight with two big boys here, and I got immediately. Like zoinks! I really didn't expect that door to knock me down, so what can you do? This fight isn't too bad though, because like how we looped the one earlier at the window, we can run these ones around the fountain in the middle of the room. Pretty much everything besides this fight is avoidable by running, so you know the drill. Man, there's nothing I hate more. Oh, I'm dead. I'm alive. I'm dead. Back with Jill, we're introduced to swimming. And it's okay, I guess. There's definitely worse swimming in other games. If you're attacked underwater, you lose air until you die, which is represented by the screen turning grayscale, just like in real life. I think that's about it for water mechanics. Unfortunately, there's more swimming later. Eventually, there's a worse version of the Dead Space 2 elevator fight. I don't know if this is a type of fight people should be putting in games. Like, I can't think of a single good elevator window peekaboo fight. Actually, I can't think of one at all besides Dead Space in this. Probably because everybody else thinks they suck too, right? So my goldfish memory kicked in here, and I had completely forgotten about what comes after the elevator. This is the guy that was attacking us on the elevator, except he's a boss fight now. A boss fight I was not prepared for at all. Oh, well, no, it's
Careful! One hit and you'll be done for.
Jesus. Oh. It didn't really help that I virtually had no health going into this fight, and with the checkpoint being at the door and loading a save meaning I'd have to start over at the Chris section, I thought it'd be better to try and grind it out. It probably wasn't. Grenade! I know this just looks like I suck at Revelations, and that's true. Luckily, it only took me over an hour of deaths to finally figure this guy out. Oh my god, we did it!
What a pain in the ass piece of shit. What a night.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. The first half of Chapter 7 is Hunter spam, again. It's pretty non-stop. The second half of Chapter 7 has a little more Hunter spam, and also a timer until we're glassed by a space laser. I'm not making that up. I feel like they could have solved just about every Resident Evil game after this with a space laser. Rachel makes her return during this bit as well, but she's less of a problem this time. She won't be back. After saying goodbye to Rachel, I got this achievement by accident, so that's nice. Anyways, the laser kinda misses because of shenanigans, and just ends up blasting the boat with some big old waves, which can only mean one thing. Chapter 8 has more swimming. A lot of it. Yay. And that means there's not a lot to say. Swimming gameplay still isn't terribly exciting or challenging, just kinda there. Essentially, we're going back through the build from earlier, but with a lot more water in it. Eventually, we get swapped back to Chris, and if there's any divers out there watching this, can anyone confirm or deny if the open leg of Jessica's wetsuit actually serves any purpose? Wetsuits are meant to insulate, right? Wouldn't this open leg defeat the purpose? I mean, I think this might be the final straw. The space laser at least made sense, but now my immersion is ruined. Oh, turret sections, my beloved. How I've missed you. I don't think I've had to complain about a turret section in a hot minute. At least this one is somehow vaguely reminding me of a Star Fox 64 level. Couldn't tell you the name of it, besides the fact I think it's on the left route. That turret section, thankfully, is only 2 minutes long, after which Jill and Chris are reunited, yay! Surely nothing in a future Resident Evil game could ever come between them. Now we have to swim our way to a lab in the belly of the ship. Is belly the correct term? I only know bilge. I need to play more barotrauma. I was kind of hoping for a live-action Resident Evil movie-esque laser hallway down here, but instead we've got a decontamination room, and of course we're attacked in it. Chris looked really worried about it. I'm sure finding a Magnum perked him right back up though. We'll be saving this for later. The start of Chapter 9 has us as the comedic relief duo again. But there's finally something to laugh about here because we're hit with a 5-minute long arena battle against more hunters. And also some dogs sprinkled in there to keep things fresh. On the bright side, there's a lot of convenient explosives. Speaking of explosives, we get bombed and never have to play as them again. Thank God. Now we're back to Jill and Chris, where the monkey's paw curled, and we get Resident Evil's least exciting laser hallway. It's more like a corridor made of lasers that we can see with the scanner out, and they hurt a bit if we touch them. No backflips here. At this point in the run, and honestly even a chapter or two earlier, I was pretty heavily leaning on my sniper rifle because I got it to a point where it dealt with most things with relative ease. Which is great, because this chapter ends with a big Uzi shootout. Uzi is in like wet ooze, the enemies, not an Uzi submachine gun. Or is it a machine pistol? The only thing worth mentioning in Chapter 10 is that I ate absolute shit during a timed escape sequence. Oh! Oh, that fucking killed me! God damn it! Chapter 11 is a really easy spectacle boss fight. I don't even know what the hell this thing is. But what I do know is that it has enough worms to be from System Shock 2, so we gotta shoot them. Eventually, they even give us free RPGs to take pot shots with. That's Phase 1. Phase 2 is another turret section. It's pretty easy as well. Probably easier. I'd say we shoot it until it's dead, but we shoot it until Kirk the helicopter pilot gives us a rocket launcher, and then we watch it die in a cutscene. I still don't understand where the fuck that thing came from. I wish I could say this is the end of the chapter, but there's one last flashback section with more goddamn hunters. This one is the worst though, because it also has a forced walking section where we have to carry a limping Raymond around us for a minute, but it feels like an eternity. And then more hunters. Chapter 12 is the final chapter of the game. Actually, they're called episodes. That's my bad. There's a lot of swimming and story stuff at the start, but for our purposes, we're only looking at the final boss. Google tells me its name is Ultimate Abyss, but I call it the Fish Tyrant. As you'd hope, this dude is easily the best enemy and fight in the game, but he's also not that hard. Maybe that's because I saved every Magnum bullet I found specifically for this fight to make it as easy as possible. I'm sure Chris firing off blanks in the corner helped a lot too, though. To be fair, I did die once during my first attempt, but that was mostly trying to feel out how this guy throws hands. Alright. This is the run now, I get it. I understand. It all makes sense. At the end of the day, it's your classic shoot the orange glowing weak spot boss fight every horror adjacent game had in this era, and still does. Fishboy will eventually start staggering his attack timings, create after images, and teleport. He essentially turns into Merman Goku halfway through the fight, but like all the challenging enemies in Revelations, he is mostly just really tanky. No, bro, please, bro. Oh. My God, what a fucking sponge. And that's Resident Evil Revelations, the Vestibule of Hell achievement. Add this to the list of runs that start off a lot harder than they end. I mean, I guess that's kind of to be expected with the power creep of getting guns kitted out with high-tier parts. I think this run was overall fun. I liked the challenge early on, but Revelations never fully clicked with me, I guess. Which is fine, it's just not something I see myself revisiting. Ever. At least until the goldfish memory kicks in and I forget the parts I didn't like. If you liked this video, consider giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment if you want, and maybe click subscribe, because I'm told that's really good for my channel and will probably help me keep making these videos in the future. And if you want to catch these runs live, you can find me over at twitch.tv/anxiety. Hey! Clear Infernal difficulty, there we go. Wow, custom parts, that was worth it. Hydra, that was worth it. Infinite rocket launcher, that was worth it. Saving content, that was worth it. Remember to use my link in the description to play War Thunder for free today and get a free limited time bonus offer that includes premium vehicles, currency, a premium account, and more.